Welcome to another edition of the Joy Starters podcast. Rachel Joy Baribeau here. Listen, ladies, I don't gatekeep. If you're just listening to this, you need to go to my YouTube, and so you can see the beautifulness that I am rubbing this outfit right now. I am wearing denim pajamas, people. Okay. I wear these out of the house. I dress these up. I am not affiliated. I'm not making any money. I don't have an affiliate link with them, but I think it's by a company named Sunshine Sisters, if I'm not mistaken. And I have already ordered more because they are the most comfortable thing that I've ever put on my body, and they're pajamas, but they look like denim. Okay, but they're pajamas. Anywho, this edition of the Joy Starters podcast, keep bearing with us. I've just ordered a backdrop. I've got different mics that I'm experimenting with. I've got a lot of things a very beautiful pink backdrop that I'm experimenting with about changing and having a corner with like a cool sign in the back, like a lot of people have. I have my office, but we are experimenting, and I told you we would do this. This would be a priority for us after the retreat and the gala. And if you haven't seen my social media this week, we have shared some of the things that from our speakers about the retreat and the gala, and it just continues to be amazing. We are releasing dates in the next 2 weeks. If you're not on my newsletter the link is in the show notes. Please, if you're not on my newsletter, go and join that. We do not spam you, I promise you, but we do send a newsletter usually once a week just to encourage you to teach. And this last week's newsletter was, if this were your last Monday. What are you talking about, Rachel? I woke up, had the greatest Saturday with my husband, and we don't often get to go on dates. We're just very, very busy. And I said, clear your calendar for Saturday. We're just going to piddle. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm not sure where we're going to go, but I want time with you. And so I ended up, because I had gone to Columbus, as I mentioned in last week's podcast, because I'd gone to Columbus, I thought I didn't know what was going to be on Saturday, but I ended up on one of those days, if y'all feel me, just getting up and getting after it. I mean, I had lots of steps. I was cleaning, there's a certain way, organizing, cleaning, doing all that. And so we finally got out and about, I'd say about 3:00. And we went to Home Depot, and then we went to get an adjustment from the joint. If you don't have a joint near you, look it up. It's affordable chiropractic care. Again, not sponsored by him. I just don't gatekeep. Affordable chiropractic care, and it allows you to get adjusted more than one time a month, because chiropractic care can be so expensive. So I knew if I took him, he has an account, he would go. Otherwise, he more than times than not won't go. So we got adjusted. And then we were walking away, and we were going to go eat at this restaurant near the ocean. And TJ Maxx was right there. And so we decided to go into TJ Maxx. And my husband loves to piddle. He's a piddler. I'm a piddler, okay? And so we went in there, and he found all the sales. He loves finding sales. He piddled. I took pictures of him doing this. And then we ran home, dropped my sweet buddy off with the neighbors, and went to this restaurant that was right on the ocean. And got there, changed clothes, got there, and there was a woman that just was like, you two are glowing, you two look so happy, you two are so cute. We ended up talking to her. She's from Russia. She was there with her daughter. She owns a med spa, and so we just had a great conversation with her as we're eating. All that to say is, I think my husband and I ate something bad, okay? So after church, it was not pretty on Sunday. I'm going to leave it at that. So I literally laid around all day Sunday. And when you lay around as a go-getter, I think anytime you're sick or anything's going on with you, you're just, when you're well or when you feel some break in the sickness, you're just so grateful. Anytime you go through something, you're like, man, when you're sick, like when you have a common cold, I'll never take for granted breathing again. You can't breathe out of your nose for several days. I have a number of my friends that are going through medical situations right now. And so I woke up on Monday and even my body wasn't awake yet, but my brain was awake, and my brain was saying, this is the day that the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I cannot sing worth a lick, y'all. But my mom and I used to walk in the mornings and we would hold hands and she would sing that. So that's how I started my day. And then the Lord hit me with this. He hit me with if this were your last Monday, how would you move? How would you act? How would it affect your business, your life, all of those things? And so I woke up saying that. I sent it to my player engagement guy at Arkansas. I started thinking, if this were my last Monday, what would I say to people? What would I do? What would I go for? How would it affect me, right? Wrote about it in the newsletter. And so that's how I started my week. And then in preparing for this podcast, I had to tell you a couple of stories about some amazing people. The first one is so let me back up. Let me bug it up. I'm such a nerd. I have to tell you, with the retreat and the gala, there were so many things that happened that blew my mind. And namely, one of those things was just the kindness of people, like the absolute kindness of people. And two of those particular situations, I could go on and on about them, but two of them really, really stood out to me. And one of them was a gentleman. His name is Bart. His daughter is Victoria. And I met him when I was speaking at the last Next Level event in Atlanta, which I've spoken for them more than a few times. Super grateful to be asked back over and over again. And they had a dinner. They were hosting a dinner. And so we got seated next to Bart and Victoria, and they are in the mastermind. Well, we become friends. We share a cab back together, all of those things. Bart owns a clothing store, a men's clothing store, and he dresses a lot of coaches, okay? And in getting ready for the gala and the retreat, man, I wasn't scared to ask people things. I just went for it. I'm like, the worst people can tell me is no, so I'm just going to ask them. And so I asked Bart, would you be willing to donate a custom suit? You know, somebody can get, fitted, many, many places, I would think, and then you just do the suit. And he was like, sure. Well, my gym owner, Craig and Jamie, Craig ended up winning that live auction. We auctioned off several live things, a piece of jewelry that somebody gave me that was way more than anything we could have asked for. The Jags gave us sideline passes, a parking pass, sideline passes, and tickets for, I think it was 6, right? They gave us a signed ball, another signed ball. It was just like a couple of these items that we had in the live auction that were just outstanding. My girlfriend, Kelly, who makes all of my amazing jackets that I just told you about last week in the podcast, she donated a jacket, okay? So these people just blew my mind with their kindness. Well, Craig is telling me he and Bart are getting together and they're talking and we're all in a group chat, and I think they started texting themselves. Well, anyway, fast forward in the story, and I find out, Bart tells me, I should say, he says, I really didn't want to trust anybody else to do this. This is important to me. He said, so you ready for this? I'm going to fly down to Fernandina, to Amelia Island, and I'm going to fit Craig myself. I'm like, what? You're a business owner. You donated a $900 value suit, a custom suit. You're going to also take a day, you're also going to burn a day in your business and do this for me, for this movement, for mental health, for this client. And he said, yeah. And I said, who are you? You are so kind. So I knew he did it. And I just saw Craig this week, and Craig said he was amazing. And he said he also had me put on a suit that I had recently gotten. And he said, hey, this is really well made. He said, but it doesn't fit you really, like your proportions really well. And he said, let me take it and let me fix this suit as well. So Craig said, like, what? Craig said, not only did he, I won the auction in this suit. He's making me this custom suit. And he flew down here from Virginia to Florida, okay? Shout out to Bart. Shout out to Victoria. Shout out to Jeremy Anderson and Next Level and everybody at Next Level for introducing me to these kind people. Yes, we were going to tag you when we share this on social media. Whew, couldn't even get that out. So he tells me all of this, and I am just overcome. Like, I'm overcome with Bart's kindness. And so I said to Bart and his daughter this morning, I said, look, we were raving about you at the gym. You're such a phenomenal human. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that, but thank you so, so, so much. And he was like, it was my pleasure. And so then I start talking to Craig in my entrepreneurial mind and blessing people. And I said, Craig, what if he came back down and we lined up men in this area that wanted to work with him? And he said, oh, I'm sure I could get 5 or 6 people. And I'm like, I'm sure I could get a few too, that a great suit, a great price, a custom suit, right? And so Bart is going to fly back down to Fernandina Beach, and we are going to grow his business, and he's got a great business, but we're just going to bless him for the kindness that he showed us, showed I'm Changing the Narrative, showed Craig. I mean, who does that? Who does that? And I have another story of somebody who did something so kind. I guess the podcast this week, I'm teaching you about people that have gone over and beyond. People that didn't have to sit at the restaurant last Saturday, got some bad shrimp, But people that did not, this woman did not, Yulia was her name. She did not have to sit at the restaurant and say, you two are so cute, and here's my business, and this, that, whatever, and you're so kind, and, and talk to her daughter, and she could have just kept to herself. She could have just kept herself. And it got cold, and we were sharing blankets, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful night, okay? So that's not only the story of the dinner that was great before we got some boiled shrimp, and then the story of Bart and Victoria and their kindness, and Craig. And not to mention Craig and Jamie were also said, no, we're not going to donate a month. We're going to donate 3 months to somebody for this auction. I'm like, what? I'm like, just the overflow, where some people, we went in and I had relationships with them, and I'm not going to focus on it, but we went in and we asked a few times, and they just didn't, for whatever reason, didn't want to be involved. And that's okay. That's their loss, baby. That is their loss. But I choose to focus on the people, the good people. And here's my first teaching point to you, is just be a good person, man. First instance of this, what I'm teaching you today, is it would have been very easy for Bart to just mail it in. Just mail it in, Bart. You gave the guy a suit, send him down to Men's Warehouse, get his measurements, and that will be that. You've already gone over and beyond and given somebody a $900 value suit. Okay, so you ain't got to do nothing else, but he goes over and beyond. Second instance of that was somebody who is in my life and helps me. I love her to death. Her name's Catherine. She went over and beyond. She and her sister Denise, different people. I think I just spit on myself. You can one day hope to be this classy. That's well put together. So they did so many things. That was the other thing. Like, I was really blown away by the kindness of people that spent their time, their effort, their money, just trying to help us, their connections, just trying to help us. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So Catherine introduced me to somebody that she knows is actually in her family that is a baker, that bakes things. And so she asked me for my logo, my website. And I thought she was just going to slap some crowns on a cake or do the colors on cupcakes. No, baby. That is not what she did. She doesn't even bring them in. She drops them off. She's so humble. Destiny. She just drops them off at the front desk and she leaves, and I get in touch with her. I'm like, hey, did you get to come by? I wanted to say. She's like, oh no, I dropped them, blah, blah, blah. So I go up there and I bring them in and I open this case. And baby, look at these cupcakes. Look at them. Okay. I opened this case and I literally about had a heart attack. This girl, just like Bart, donated these cakes. Her time. She could have been spending her time doing anything else in the entire world, okay? If you're in the Florida area, let me know. Drop me, or North Florida area, Jacksonville, Fernandina, and you need a baker. You need somebody to make you a cake or cupcakes. This is your girl, and I want to help her. So I opened the box up, and I look at these cupcakes, y'all. This woman has gone on her own, just like Bart, flying down here, and she has researched sayings with I'm changing the narrative. Things that I've said, things that we've said in the movement, things that are associated with the movement. Baby, she printed them out on some thick sugar, some sugar, some print. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this because I'm not a baker, but she printed them out. They were on top of cupcakes, okay? On top of these cupcakes. I'm like, what? Like, nobody would have faulted her. And the cupcakes were yummy, very yummy. Nobody would have faulted her if it was just a blue cupcake with some gold on it, or she could have bought a little crown to put on it. I would have been so grateful the fact that she even wanted to do this anyway, right? So it was the joy. It was the biggest joy to me to walk around because they were being taught and they were in session to walk around and like offer these cupcakes and for each person to go, look at that. Those are so cool. Those are so amazing. And as somebody who put on this retreat, one of the other really coolest parts was I love surprises. Okay. Just FYI, I love surprises. And I love giving them and getting them. And so I said, you know what? I don't want them to have everything right at the beginning. I want to have little things throughout the weekend that just absolutely bless them. Okay. And so, yes, they walked into a poster that was from Hatch Show Prints. If you're familiar with Nashville, every famous artist who's ever had any kind of concert has a Hatch Show print back to the 1900s. They did one for my first retreat in Nashville. Just have very limited edition of these posters. So they had a poster, they had a cup, they had their retreat stuff, they had a journal, okay? But then throughout the weekend, they found out that they had a complimentary IV drip, and then they found out that they had shirts, and then they found out that they had cupcakes, and then they found out that they had a concert on the beach, and then they found out that a store opened up, Saxon Blue, for us to do private shopping. So there was like little things throughout the weekend that I just want. There was a professional photographer at the beach doing pictures for them, doing beach portraits for them. So there was like little things. There was, when they got in their room, there was a beach blanket. And myself and one of our attendees and speakers, Jennifer, we made that happen. And then whatever they put on their sheet of their favorites, we had some of their favorite snacks and favorite drinks and a card inside their room. Okay, baby, that's how we do this retreat. And I think I said it last week, but I'm going to say it again. We got a second one coming that I'm going to announce. And I am just so stinking excited. I think I mentioned this last week, but I am just so stinking excited to do this second retreat next year. It's going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. So Bart, destiny, going over and beyond. And the last person that I want to shout out on this podcast this week, this episode, is just the kindness of my friend Terry Kauser, Care Credit. And we will drop a link to her. We're actually going to drop a link. You know what we're going to do? We're going to drop a link to the video that she did the other night. So I got an email from her. Terry is my wealth and business coach. I've been very, very vocal about her, about how she has helped me, about how I'm a good speaker and I am a good consultant and a good coach. But I wasn't great with finances. I wasn't great with business credit and understanding it and wealth and how to build it. And I met Terry again at a next level event. Shout out to Jeremy Anderson and his whole team and Tracy, his wife. And I knew that I don't know what I don't know. And so I reached out to her. I did some coaching sessions with her. And one of the first coaching sessions, we talked about purchasing a car in my business name. And within 30 days, I was able to go do that. She is just amazing. And so I have hooked her up with some connections because I want to bless her, and she has blessed me so big, right? So I got an email from her because she has a Patreon, different levels, very affordable each month, where she teaches all throughout the week in the evening. She teaches and teaches. She does free. She does some stuff for the people that pay in her Patreon. And last night was a free one. And so I put that link in, and oh, it's so good. One of the other great things that has happened since the retreat, we did a group chat, and we're actually going to make a Slack. One of our attendees, Christine, said, I am very technologically savvy. I'm very organized. Let's do a Slack, and we'll have a Slack for the first cohort and the second cohort and the third cohort. But everything that I dreamed and wanted to happen with this retreat is happening. We have a group chat that is active all the time. Like, people are dropping links, they're encouraging each other, they're praying for each other. I'm finding out people are talking back and forth, having separate calls, building friendships, like everything that I wanted. But when I got this link that Terry was having this meeting last night, and it was free, and it was all about side hustles. And if you have a side hustle and you're not making $10,000, it's not even a side hustle, a business, and you're not making $10,000 a month, there's a problem. And she said, I'm going to go X, Y, Z, and D through it. So I threw that in our group chat, and I want to say like 6 or 7 of our people that were there showed up. And you could see us in the chat on YouTube, because it was live, commenting back and forth. But here's just like Bart, just like Destiny, here's what Terry did. Terry, throughout the time, called out the I'm Changing the Narrative family. She called out the Joy Starter group. She said, thank you, Rachel, for bringing them, because I was having a conversation with somebody last week, and it was so true. And it said, people at the top do not compete, they collaborate. And I was like, oh, that's so good, because I've taught on this for a long time. I just don't think we're meant to compete with each other. You're a miracle. I'm a miracle. I can help you. And if you get the job that I wanted, then baby, that was meant for you. That was not meant for me, right? And so we're on this call for an hour and a half, and she is teaching. She is giving so much value. This girl does not gatekeep, and she's calling out Joy Starters and these people, and she's shouting them out. And so in the process, she didn't have to do this. She could have said, hello, Rachel. She could have said nothing. She could have said, there was all these people. She could have said nothing about my group and me. She talked about the retreat. She talked about meeting me. And again, it was just like Bart, just like Destiny, did not have to go over and beyond, did not have to be so kind, did not have to be so amazing, yet she was. So your lesson this week is all about be a Terry, be a Bart, be a Destiny, baby, and go over and beyond for people, especially when you don't have to, because that is what makes the world go round, okay? That is what makes the world go round. So I love y'all. I'm so blessed by you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If this inspired you, why don't you do this for me? Why don't you send this to somebody who has gone over and beyond for you? Send this to somebody who has been a Bart, been a Terry, been a Destiny. It would mean the world to me. And just say, you know what? When I listened to this podcast, I thought about you. You only had to do the bare minimum. Heck, you didn't have to do anything at all. You didn't have to donate. You didn't have to do any of those things, but you did it, and you did it with love and care and concern. And we don't do these things. We don't give, we don't serve in hopes that things will come back to us, but that's just the natural order, baby. When you give, you love, you can't outgive God. And when you give and bless people, it will boomerang back to you. I don't know when, but it will. And so I got more stuff to tell y'all, like more stuff of people who have been so kind and so wonderful, but I'm going to sign off for now. But my request of you is always to like this podcast, subscribe if you aren't, rate it, and then also share it. And so within the next week to 2 weeks, we're going to be announcing the dates. I've shared this before, but there is a interest-free layaway program that you can use, and that just lets you make payments towards the retreat. And when this other retreat comes out, it's going to sell out real fast, because it is somewhere that is just to die for. Okay? I don't even want to give all the secrets away, but that's coming out very soon. And I'm working on my second book. I don't even know why I do sparkle fingers. I'm working on my second book. And I'll be out on the road speaking back in May, talking to another NFL team. Just trying to secure a date right now. A couple of new schools. I'm so excited. A couple of my old schools. And no matter where I go and what I do, my schools are just somewhere I love. And I'm so grateful. And that's where my heart is. So my heart is coaching and schools. And I'm just so stinking blessed. And thank you so much for listening. I will see you soon on the next edition of the Joy Starters podcast.
Give from the heart. Hi, this is Lindsay. I'm really glad you're here with me. If you're listening to this right now, just take a moment and allow yourself to pause, to slow down, to come back to yourself. This moment right here, this is yours. Nothing to prove, nothing to earn, just space to breathe. So let's begin by finding your breath. Good. Again, simply breathe. Let your breath guide you into the present moment. Let it anchor you here. Now gently bring your awareness to your feet. Notice your feet. Feel them resting on the ground beneath you. Be where your feet are. Feel that support. Steady, grounded, safe. Now slowly bring your awareness up through your body, through your legs, into your stomach, and into your chest. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw release. And gently open your heart. And as you sit here, breathing, present, I want you to reflect on something. Think about a moment where someone gave to you, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Maybe it was something small. Maybe it was something big. But you could feel it, the intention, the care, the love behind it. Notice how that felt in your body, in your heart. Now, bring to mind a moment where you gave like that, where you went a little further, where you showed up with intention, where you gave more than what was required. Maybe no one even noticed. Maybe no one said thank you. But you know, because that's who you are. Take a breath here. There is something powerful about giving from the heart, not for recognition, not for validation, but because it's aligned with who you are. And as you sit here, I want you to feel into that truth. Giving is not something you do. It's something you are. You are someone who shows up, You are someone who cares. You are someone who leads with love. And when you give from that place, you create something bigger than you can see. Energy moves. Connection deepens. Lives shift. And without needing to force it, without needing to chase it, that same energy finds its way back to you. Not because you expect it, but because that is the natural flow of life. Take a moment now and imagine yourself moving through your life as this version of you. The version of you who gives with intention, who listens more deeply, who shows up more fully, who adds that extra layer of care even when no one is watching. See it, feel it, live it. Notice how you walk. Notice how you speak. Notice how people feel around you. There is a quiet confidence in this version of you, a grounded presence, a warmth that people can feel. And the most powerful part is that it's already within you. You're not becoming this person. You're remembering. Take a slow breath in and let these words settle into your mind. I give from a place of love. I trust the energy I put into the world. What I give returns to me in ways I may not see yet. Take one more breath and let it go. Feel your body. Feel your breath. Feel your heart. Your breath is your anchor. Notice your feet. Be where your feet are. And remember, your story matters. Whenever you're ready, gently bring your awareness back. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and slowly open your eyes.